Chapter 140. He didn't know if Li Fan scared off the ninja, but no one came to assassinate them tonight. The two of them had a good sleep. The next day, Li Fan woke up early, but Lu Xinan was still sleeping. He didn't dare to go too far away, so he stood on the balcony of the bedroom. This balcony was more like a small dojo. Below the wooden steps was a huge lawn. It was very clean and very spacious. There was not even a footprint on the lawn. It seemed that it was well maintained. The air is so good, and the sky is quite blue. Looking up at the clear sky, Li Fan couldn't help but feel a little emotional. After all, he was a rich man. The place where he lived was almost like heaven. Li Fan thought of the dark sky in City A. He felt a little unreconciled. It was not easy to live in this life. In just a few decades, it was either plain or vigorous. He met Morong Ying by chance and stepped into the world of martial arts. From then on, he would completely change himself. He would either be sensational or die. Li Fan chose this unique path. He wanted to walk it to the end. He stood on the balcony, took a deep breath, and then began to practice. The fist never left the hand, and the song never left the mouth. A martial artist had to train hard every day. Once it was put down, it would be difficult to pick it up again. Although Li Fan didn't need to strengthen his external martial arts, he only needed to strengthen his internal martial arts. But external martial arts were also very important, and he couldn't let it fall behind. A martial artist must be diligent. If he couldn't rest at sunset, he must at least wake up at sunset. He entered the 7 stances of the 7 heroes' fist and let himself take turns to experience the feelings of these 7 animals: bear, crane, tiger, deer, ape, toad, snake. For some reason, although Moronging told him that his external martial arts had been improved to the extreme, but for some reason, Li Fan always felt that there was a lot of room for improvement in his external martial arts. For example, his own bear cavalry was a stronger stance of the bear strike technique. Then by the same logic, the other external martial arts should also have a stronger stance. Bang! Pa! Every time Li Fan slammed his palm out, there would be a loud bang, as if the air was torn apart. Who's shooting? Lu Xinan suddenly woke up. She looked at Li Fan standing on the balcony and saw the dust around him rising and falling. She couldn't help but curse angrily. Bastard! Not letting me have a good night's sleep so early in the morning. Spring is the best time to plan a year, and morning is the best time to plan a day. Li Fan was calm and unperturbed. He continued to practice while saying, "Scorpion woman, you are still young. Don't waste your time sleeping. You know nothing." Lu Xinan looked at Li Fan as if she was looking at an idiot. Do you know how important sleep is to a woman? Chapter 141. What can a tycoon's birthday be like? Li Fan had seen the emperor's birthday on TV before, but today, he felt that it was probably just like that. The entire mansion was now decorated like a palace. There were maids and butlers everywhere, welcoming the guests. Old man Yamada sat on an antique chair and was chatting with a few important VIPs. At this time, Lu Xinan walked over. She was dressed a little formally today, a black evening dress. In order to prop up the evening dress, she specially padded 2 layers of chest pads. Li Fan wanted to laugh the whole way, but he could only hold it in. Other than him, the 5 bodyguards of Qi Zeping's team followed her closely, afraid that this rich young miss would be in danger. If they knew about the battle in the bathroom last night, the 5 of them would probably kneel down and commit seppuku. All right, these people have been living abroad all year round and have accepted Western culture. They probably would not be like that island country shorty. The 5 of them were very nervous. Their faces were taut as they stared at everyone who came in and out. Cho Ao was an explosives expert and also a computer expert. Through a pair of the latest smart glasses, he scanned every guest around him and passed their information to the others through the headphones. "Miss Lu, please sit here." Old man Yamada's private secretary immediately invited Lu Xinan to take a seat. And old man Yamada, who was beside him, also said enthusiastically, "Niece, is it good to stay here with me?" Old man Yamada's enthusiastic look made Li Fan feel very strange. But his words seemed to have a hidden meaning. Is it good to stay here? It was full of meaning. Good, very good. Lu Xinan's words were even more interesting. The servants here are very enthusiastic, and the service is very good. It makes me feel like I'm in heaven. That's good, that's good. It was unknown what old man Yamada's eyes were turning, but Li Fan felt that this old man's schemes should be very deep. It's fun here, niece. I guarantee that you won't want to go home. That's right, Uncle Yamada. Lu Shinan looked around. The hospitality here is so good. I really don't know if I can go home. As for the matter of the assassin, neither of them mentioned it. But between the lines, no one actually ran away from this matter. A battle of words. Li Fan finally had this feeling. This kind of situation was really not suitable for him. If it was Little Four Eyes, he would definitely be very happy and enjoy it. How boring. I really want to spar with Guan Wanbao. As for the ninja from that day, Li Fan was not in the mood to fight with him. It was too boring. That person's entire body was filled with killing techniques, without any martial skills at all. Among the few bodyguards of Lu Shinan, only Li Fan stood at the side in a carefree manner. From time to time, he would take some food from the cold plate next to him and stuff it into his mouth. Chi Zepping was furious. How was this guy here to be a bodyguard? He was here to freeload. Just as Li Fan was muttering, Lu Shinan clapped her hands. Chi Zepping immediately pushed a box over. Uncle Yamada, today is your birthday. I don't have anything good to give you. This is a night pearl from the South China Sea. It's very valuable. On it, there is a naturally formed mountain and river painting. It was obtained by my father when he went out to sea. All these years, he has always treasured it. Today, I will give this treasure sword to the hero. I wish Uncle Yamada good fortune as vast as the East China Sea and longevity as long as the South Mountain. How can I let your father part with something that he likes? Old man Yamada repeatedly waved his hand, but Lu Shinan insisted on giving it to him. My father repeatedly instructed me to deliver it to your hands. Please accept it. Since it's Mr. Lu's kind intentions, I won't refuse. Old man Yamada let someone take the South Pearl away. Then, he smiled and took out a small box from the housekeeper beside him. Then, he took out a black jade dragon-shaped imperial seal. Niece, I know you have some knowledge about antiques. Come and see what this is. Heirloom imperial seal? Lu Shinan's expression was slightly surprised. Why is it in Uncle's hands? Today is my birthday. Someone gave it to me. Yamada said with a smile. This is the real deal. It's different from those imitations. Unfortunately, it's only a Ming Dynasty imperial seal. If it was from the Qin Dynasty, it would be a priceless treasure. The Ming Dynasty imperial seal is already a priceless treasure. At that moment, Li Fan had an impulse to slap old man Yamada to death. Then, he would snatch away his imperial seal and take it back to his country. But this is just a thought. After all, he is not a national treasure team. He doesn't even know if it's real or fake. If it's fake, then there's no value in snatching it. If it's real, that person is really generous. It's indeed real. Lu Shinan looked at it carefully and frowned. Uncle Yamada, please name a price. This thing is a priceless treasure. I can't sell it. Old man Yamada waved his hand. Moreover, I'm not short of money. This thing is more or less a memory. I'm old. Sometimes, I'll dream of being an emperor. You're almost like an emperor in this house, Lu Shinan said. I don't need to dream anymore. Niece, your tone seems to be a bit anxious. Old man Yamada smiled. Your father and I are old friends. We won't hurt our relationship over such a small thing, right? Of course. But this thing is of great significance to my country. Lu Shinan tried to calm her voice. The imperial seal is one of the treasures taken away by the Japanese army when our country was invaded. It's just some old tunes from history. Old man Yamada changed the topic. Niece, are you married yet? I have a few young talents that I want to introduce to you. That's not necessary. Chapter 142. At the first moment, Li Fan had already sensed the sniper's position. He didn't know if what he said was considered pretentious, but Li Fan could indeed sense the presence of a murderous aura. What worried him the most was that it wasn't just one murderous aura, but many of them. Sure enough, on the surrounding roofs, many ninjas in black suddenly jumped out. Each of them was holding a katana in their hands. All of them had the same goal. No one bothered old man Yamada. Instead, they all rushed toward Lu Shinan. You are already the focus of the audience. Are you excited? Li Fan looked at the ninjas jumping from all directions and asked Lu Xinnan with a smile. At this time, the surrounding guests had already screamed and ran away. Li Fan saw an island politician who was usually very serious on TV. Now, he was running away with his shoes flying and a series of screams coming from his mouth, like a woman who had been molested. Everyone, be careful. Chi Zepping stared at the ninjas around him. He pulled out his baton and stared at the surroundings. The others also took out their batons. After all, it was impossible to get professional firearms in a foreign country, especially in Japan, where they were unfamiliar with the people and the land. Even if the 5 of them were the most famous bodyguards in the world, they couldn't make bricks without straw. The 5 of them gathered together, fearing that Miss Lu Xinnan would get hurt. Li Fan jumped a few times, as if he was moving his body. Ape attack. Li Fan's body had entered a realm of ape attack. Every time he entered this realm, he always felt that the flow of the world had become slower. Although the opponent's moves would also become slower during a fight, it would be much slower during ape attack. It was probably because ape attack relied on speed to fight speed. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of black ninja darts flew over from all directions, whistling through the air and arriving in front of Lu Xinnan in an instant. Chi Zepping's team members were very nervous. This was also the first time they had seen such a situation. How could he be a bodyguard with this appearance? What the hell was a ninja? At the very least, each of them should be equipped with a pistol. Only then would they be able to play their role as a team. But in situations that they couldn't solve, Li Fan was there. Li Fan stood there and stretched out his hands, catching the ninjas that were thrown at him time and time again. At the same time, he threw those ninja darts out and hit another ninja dart. Li Fan was like a human-shaped fortress at this time, protecting Lu Xinnan's safety. There were so many ninja darts, but none of them could break through Li Fan's defense. It had to be said that Chi Zepping and the others were very surprised. They looked at Li Fan in shock. They didn't expect him to have such an ability. It seemed that there was a reason why they had invited him for this mission. In such a situation, they could not do anything. Instead, it was Li Fan, a seemingly unprofessional person, who saved them once again. While Chi Zepping and the others were shocked, they also felt a little ashamed. They had so much money, but now they could only accept the protection of others with the Missy. Their pride was really unbearable. But Li Fan didn't think so much. He focused on dealing with the ninja darts that were flying at him from all directions. There were too many enemies around him. There were also a lot of ninja darts. They were densely packed like it was raining. More ninja darts collided in the air, creating golden sparks. Those ninjas seemed to have realized that relying on ninja darts was not enough to kill the target. Many ninjas stood on the rooftops beside them. They pulled the bows in their hands and shot at Lu Xinnan. The power of the bow and arrow was many times stronger than the ninja darts. The speed of the arrows from all directions was extremely fast. It was as if Lu Xinnan would become a hedgehog at any time. Oomph! Li Fan snorted coldly. He stretched out his hands and grabbed 2 sticks from Chi Zepping and Cho Ao's hands. He held them in his hands and kept waving them. He hit the arrows in front of him again and again. Li Fan's defense was like a city wall. Relying on him alone, he completely blocked the attacks from all directions. Chi Zepping and the others opened their mouths wide. They couldn't believe their eyes. Was he still human? He could block so many arrows by himself? That was impossible. How could there be such a strong athletic ability? What a terrifying nervous system to have such a superb reaction speed. And a ninja had already sneaked to their side. The tachi in his hand stabbed towards Lu Xinnan. Li Fan, however, raised his foot and kicked the ninja, sending him flying. More ninjas approached Lu Xinnan. This Missy was not afraid in the face of danger. With Li Fan here, don't even think about getting close to me. Fuck, I don't even have the confidence. Li Fan rolled his eyes. But since I'm here, the Japanese can't hurt you. If you lose even a single hair, I'll bring my head to see you. With that, Li Fan did not defend but counterattacked. He looked at the ninjas on the roofs and used one hand to block the flying arrows. Then, he stretched out his other hand and held it in the shape of a pistol. He pointed at a ninja in the distance. Using his true energy as a bullet, he shot the ninja's body. The ninja let out a muffled groan. He was shot and fell to the ground. His head was bleeding. Li Fan had never killed anyone before. But towards these Japanese, he was not polite at all. Using his hand as a gun, Li Fan fired continuously. The bullets shot down the ninjas on the roofs again and again. Li Fan consumed about 1/10 of his true energy. Finally, he killed all the ninjas on the roofs. Li Fan felt that he should practice his marksmanship. Sometimes, he needed 2 or 3 shots to hit a ninja. What kind of hidden weapon is this? Lu Xinan actually wanted to ask yesterday. Last time, Li Fan also used his finger to shoot down the ninja who came to assassinate him. This is called fancy pistol shot. Li Fan casually came up with a name. This made Lu Xinan so angry that she rolled her eyes. Fancy pistol shot your sister. Qi Zeping and the others were also very speechless. Although they did not understand why Li Fan could use his finger to shoot the so-called bullets, the effect was still very obvious. The ninjas on the roofs had all been killed. As for the remaining ninjas, every time Li Fan punched or kicked, he would be able to quickly and cleanly send them flying. These Japanese are far weaker than the ninja from yesterday. As Li Fan easily took down the ninjas that were close to him, he said with a smile, "It's like I'm bullying a noob. Is there no expert from Japan that can come out and play with me?" Just as his voice fell, the surrounding ninjas suddenly retreated. Li Fan raised his head and used the stick in his hand to block above his head. Dang! This stick blocked a katana. Li Fan's arm also slightly sank. In front of him was a ninja wearing white clothes. A pair of small eyes peeked out from the gap and stared at Li Fan. Chapter 143. That kind of gaze, it was as if a dead person was looking at him. No, to be exact, it was a dead person looking at another dead person. In any case, it made Li Fan very uncomfortable, and his entire body felt a little creepy. Look at your grandpa. Li Fan's true energy exploded from the rod, forming ripples that shook away the other party's Tai Dao. What surprised Li Fan was that the other party actually gave up on this Tai Dao that he did not know what kind of famous blade it was. Instead, he took out a strangely shaped large blade from his back and held it in his hand. With a shake of his hand, this thing immediately turned into the shape of a sickle. The huge blade carried the aura of death as it swept towards Li Fan. If this sickle were to cut Li Fan's body, he would definitely be cut into 2 pieces. Li Fan extended his hand, and the Tai Dao on the ground was sucked into his hand using the dragon toad absorbing water. He raised the Tai Dao, holding the hilt with one hand and dragging the blade with the other. He poured the true energy in his body into the slender blade of the Tai Dao through his palm. Clang! The Tai Dao trembled heavily. With the power of the true energy, it actually blocked the heavy sickle. Rare guest cultivator. Li Fan actually heard the Japanese language from the mouth of this white-clothed ninja. It was truly rare. Are you finally not a mute? Li Fan said happily, "It is fate that we meet. Killing people will spoil the scenery. Why don't we sit down and have a cup of tea and chat?" "There is a way." The white-clothed ninja roared. Li Fan glanced at Lu Xinan, who was beside him. "What did he say?" "He said that he is gay and likes you very much. He wants to taste your chrysanthemum tonight." Lu Xinan said without hesitation, "He is truly a pervert." Holy shit, just a few words, but they represent so many meanings? Li Fan was very surprised, but Lu Xinan nodded. "You have to be careful. He is a pervert. Be careful of your chrysanthemum. Get lost, Japanese. Stay away from me." Li Fan used the great sage star-plucking technique and pinched the white-clothed ninja's scythe, preventing him from pulling it out. At the same time, Li Fan's feet suddenly left the ground and kicked horizontally towards the white-clothed ninja's chest. Bang! Dang dang dang. The ninja in white took 2 steps back from the kick, but he took advantage of Li Fan's attack to pull out his scythe. He endured the pain in his body. Every ninja had to train like a Shura, so this little pain was nothing. He held the scythe and spun it like a sharp blade of the Grim Reaper, cutting towards Li Fan's neck. "I think you want to fucking rape a corpse." Li Fan saw how vicious his attacks were and how each of his moves had the momentum to slash someone. It seemed that he would not stop until he was cut in half. The 5 of you protect the scorpion girl in case someone ambushes her. Li Fan ordered, and then focused on the battle with the ninja in white. This ninja in white was not weak. Although he did not know how to use true energy, his physical strength was superior and he did not feel pain. Such a powerful man was like a devil that crawled out of hell. If he was empty-handed, Li Fan had 100% confidence that he could defeat him. However, the sharp scythe in his hand was indeed troublesome. "I have a way to kill you." The ninja in white shouted the same words as before and spun his scythe to attack, scaring Li Fan so much that he almost peed his pants. "Fuck, stinky pervert. I'm not interested in you." Li Fan suddenly raised his foot and fiercely kicked the blade of his scythe. The white deer kicked the door. This kick was extremely heavy. Even the ninja in white was kicked to the point that his scythe trembled. As for Li Fan, he withdrew his body. The ninja in white reacted quickly and pulled out a kunai from his bosom and stabbed towards Li Fan. Spirit snake comes out of its hole. Li Fan's right hand locked onto his attacking arm and then fiercely stabbed his throat with his palm. Hee. The ninja in white was immediately unable to breathe as he covered his neck and knelt on the ground. Fierce tiger tail whip. Li Fan turned around and kicked the ninja in white's head. He groaned and was sent flying by Li Fan's kick. He fainted on the ground. In the blink of an eye, more than 40 ninjas were all knocked down by Li Fan alone. They were surrounded by ninjas, and their attack was a complete failure. Bagayar. Just as Li Fan clapped his hands and was about to raise the price, a ninja suddenly got up from the ground with a detonator tied to his waist and rushed towards Li Fan and the others. Tofu, still playing with a human bomb? When Li Fan was still 3 meters away from him, he suddenly took a deep breath and struck out with his palm. Money Toad spitting pearl. A white pearl immediately flew out from Li Fan's palm. In the blink of an eye, it crossed a distance of 3 meters and hit the ninja's body. This ninja did not even touch Li Fan's hair and was sent flying. In the blink of an eye, he was sent flying 7 to 8 meters into the sky. Without hesitation, Li Fan threw himself onto Lu Xinan's body. This woman was now his rich owner. He could not let her die. 120,000. He could not afford to compensate. As for Qi Zeping and the others, they were also very experienced. They all lay on the ground, but still maintained the formation surrounding Lu Xinan. Boom. With a loud sound, the entire courtyard shook. Old Man Yamada's grass was blown up and scattered everywhere, dirtying Li Fan's black suit. Not only was that ninja blown into meat paste, but he also implicated several of his companions. However, following his failure, the other ninjas bit open a poison sac in their teeth and committed suicide by consuming the poison. Scary. Seeing this scene, Li Fan finally felt a little scared. Chapter 144. Lu Xinan naturally would not take this kind of diplomatic rhetoric seriously. She stayed here for another day and prepared to leave the next day. "There shouldn't be any danger tonight," Lu Xinan said. "Even if it's Yamada, he doesn't have the ability to continuously mobilize so many experts to deal with me. Then can I take a leave from you tonight?" Li Fan stretched as he asked. "Take a leave? What leave?" Lu Xinan felt strange and immediately asked. "It's not easy to come to Japan. I'm going to stroll around and take a look at the ginza and the like, and feel the pure customs here." The smile on Li Fan's face was somewhat wretched, but Lu Xinan fiercely rolled her eyes at him. "Come on, you think I can't guess your thoughts?" "What thoughts?" "You want to bring back the national treasure, right?" Lu Xinan took out a map. "Without my help, can you do it?" "Fuck, you woman. Could it be that you're a roundworm in my stomach?" Li Fan muttered, but Lu Xinan tenderly scolded. "Go to hell, who's a roundworm? So disgusting." "You. Otherwise, how could you guess it?" Li Fan was a little strange. Wasn't this woman a little too smart? "Why can't I guess it? Every Chinese man wants to bring the imperial jade seal back to China." Lu Xinan said straightforwardly. "If you're a Chinese man, you'll naturally want to do the same. What about Qi Zeping and the rest? Don't they want it?" "They're different. These people are Chinese Americans. They don't have a deep relationship with China." Lu Xinan took the map and pointed at it. "But this time, I can let them help me." After all, I'm the one who spent money to invite them. Moreover, it's a lot of money, okay? Li Fan felt a bit unbalanced in his heart, but Lu Xinan said objectively, what's there to be unbalanced about? You only won once in an underground boxing match. But these 5 people were experienced and famous. They had been professional bodyguards for 20 years. If you don't make a name for yourself, who will spend a lot of money to hire you? I want to raise the price. We'll talk about that next time. Lu Xinan shrugged her shoulders. Anyway, this time, it's 60,000 yuan. You have to protect me and send me safely on the plane home. Fuck you. Come on. It's worse than fucking dogs. Die. Lu Xinan really wanted to kick Li Fan back to City A, but he still had to stay to protect her. The last wave of assassinations should be on the way back. If Li Fan wasn't here, these world-famous bodyguards might not be able to protect him. The ninjas of the island nation are too strange, and it is indeed beyond the scope of Chi Zepping's business. But when it came to stealing treasures, they could still be of some use. Look at you, always scolding people. You're a missy after all. How can you be so uncultured? Go to hell. It's none of your business if I'm uncultured or not. Stop fooling around. We're talking business. Li Fan said straightforwardly, a man lives with a breath and a tree with a bark. Guan Wenbao bowed to you because he wanted to repay your kindness. Now, you don't even have the last person who is willing to repay you. You are a failure in life, Snake Lady. Bullshit. I live a good life. Lu Xinan was angry again. She patted her chest and said, many people envy my life. I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Then let me ask you, do you have friends? Li Fan asked a simple question, but Lu Xinan didn't know what to say. Me? Why don't I? I have many friends. When I go out to a party, I can make a lot of friends. Guan Wenbao and I are friends now. We can sacrifice our lives for each other. Li Fan said loudly, I have Lei and Little Four Eyes. We don't have any relationship, but we can talk to each other, share weal and woe. Snake Lady, let me ask you, do you have friends like this? Chapter 145. Lu Xinan thought for a long time but couldn't think of such a person. I have money. I can hire the best bodyguards to die for me. They will die for your money, not for you. Li Fan laughed. Lu Xinan, if you don't have money, then you are nothing. I will be rich for the rest of my life. They will always have to suck up to me. Lu Xinan said confidently, including you, Li Fan. You still owe me money. Don't forget. I won't forget. Just let me return it to you. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders, but young master, I only sell my skills, not my body. Don't have any improper thoughts. Go to hell. Only a ghost would have improper thoughts about you. Lu Xinan was furious. This damned guy. What was going on in his head all day long? How could I have any thoughts about him? He was a bastard. A complete and utter bastard. Look. You're going off topic. Li Fan said in all seriousness. How can this person be like this? He's too much. I was just talking to you about something serious. Look at you. You're just rambling. Your sister. Lu Xinan's eyes were about to roll to the sky. This guy was too annoying. Why couldn't she win against him? It wasn't like he had no desires, but she couldn't find a place to start. Annoying. He was really too annoying. Lu Xinan was about to explode in anger, but she had nowhere to vent. She could only use her finger to poke the map, as if she wanted to poke the map. Missy, if you use more strength, the table is going to explode from your poking. Li Fan couldn't help but ridicule. Lu Xinan said angrily, see this? This is it. This is the place where old man Yamada keeps his treasures. It's a 10-meter deep steel basement. The security here is very tight. The only entrance is this door, which is old man Yamada's bedroom. Lu Xinan pointed to a building next to it. There are no other entrances or exits in this place. Also, there are a total of 10 security doors inside, and each of them has a biological detector to scan for people entering. Once someone enters, all the security doors will be immediately locked. I don't know much about this. Let Chi Zepping and the others come in. Of course, that's why they're hired. Lu Xinan said something through the earpiece, and Qi Zeping's team immediately walked in. Lu Xinan told him about the matter, and Qi Zeping's eyes actually lit up. It seemed that he had been stifled for the past few days. Now that there was finally something for him to do, he was very excited. This place is known as a Class 5A fortress. Qi Zeping stared at the map. Our only chance to strike is Mr. Yamada's bedroom. The method of entry should be fingerprint, voice control, or retina scan. So we need to get this old gentleman's physical characteristics. Fingerprint is easy to get. Voice control is also not a problem. But if it's retina scan, it's difficult. Qi Zeping said, I need to get some props. Oh right, the escort agency you mentioned earlier. What's going on? Li Fan waited for Qi Zeping and the rest to get busy before immediately asking. China's escort agency specializes in smuggling goods. Lu Xinan gave Li Fan a meaningful look. If you really want to earn a lot of money, I suggest you and Guan Wanbao rebuild the escort agency. With the two of your abilities, you should be able to do it well. I've known you for so long. This is the first time you've spoken like a human. Li Fan sighed with emotion, angering Lu Xinan to glare at him. What do you mean by this, Li Fan? Are you looking for a quarrel? Look at you, losing your temper after 2 sentences. We're a team now, so we need to be united. We need to think the same way and work towards the same goal. You're not a child anymore. Why do you always make me worry about you? Li Fan, why don't you go to hell? Lu Xinan felt that as long as Li Fan didn't die, she wouldn't be able to be at ease. But if he died, it would be a bit meaningless. Because I'm a good person, good people have a peaceful life. I can't be bothered with you. I'm going to put on makeup. Chapter 146. It was indeed a very important banquet. Even a bodyguard like Li Fan could only stand outside the hall, closing his eyes to rest while waiting for Lu Xinan to start the mission. According to the agreement, he would wait at the entrance of the banquet. Once everything was ready, he would immediately set off. At this time, Lu Xinan had already been inside for more than an hour. Although Li Fan was patient, time was of the essence. It was more important to get the national treasure as soon as possible. Otherwise, a long night would bring trouble. And if he missed this opportunity, it would be even more difficult to wait for the next one. Surveillance equipment switch complete. Cho Ao's voice came from the earpiece. Wait for the next round of mission instructions. Everyone stay where you are. We'll wait for Miss to obtain the biological characteristics. Li Fan looked at the time. It was already past 9 o'clock. If Lu Xinan didn't come out now, there might not be enough time. He wanted to rush into the hall, personally grab old man Yamada's head, and push him into the treasure vault to pass the inspection. But Li Fan knew that this was unlikely. After all, there were many experts in this house, and it was said that the treasure vault even had a self-destruct mechanism. Once it was activated, all the treasures would turn into ashes in an instant. Old man Yamada would rather die with the treasures than return them to the Chinese. This was Lu Xinan's evaluation of him. Li Fan waited patiently for a while longer. The door to the hall was finally pushed open. Lu Xinan walked out drunk and leaned into Li Fan's arms. Li Fan, have a drink with me? Lu Xinan hooked Li Fan's chin with one finger and looked at him flirtatiously. Snake woman, you've drunk too much. Li Fan gently pushed Lu Xinan away. Her body reeked of perfume and alcohol. The smell was chaotic, but it had a fatal attraction. Don't look down on me. Lu Xinan leaned on Li Fan's body softly. I won't get drunk even after 1,000 drinks. As she spoke, she took off her black-rimmed glasses and stuffed them into Li Fan's chest pocket. Keep it safe for me. Give it back to me tonight. These were smart glasses provided by Cho Ao. They could collect information about the other party's cornea, voice, and even fingerprints. In this day and age where technology was advancing by leaps and bounds, none of this was difficult. There was a smart chip on the glasses that was connected to Cho Ao's network. Yamada, that old pervert, he even wanted to take the opportunity to touch this lady's thigh. Lu Xinan lowered her voice and whispered into Li Fan's ear. This old man, why doesn't he take a piss and look at himself? You're old enough to be a grandfather, yet you're still so shameless. No matter how old a man is, he likes young women. Li Fan chuckled, especially the old men of the island. They like Lolas with no chest like you the most? Chapter 147. Li Fan took 2 deep breaths to calm himself down. He looked at the strange scrolls around him and began to mutter in his heart. Wouldn't people who lived in such a place all year round become perverted? Li Fan looked around. His smart glasses began to scan and analyze the scenery in the room. Cho Ao analyzed every scene and finally locked onto a book on the bookshelf. Li Fan followed Cho Ao's instructions and walked over. He stretched out his hand and pulled on the book. Boom! A trembling sound was heard. The opposite wall slowly opened and a high-tech elevator appeared in front of him. However, opening the door of the elevator required a cornea scan. Li Fan was already prepared. He walked forward and scanned his glasses with a laser. The cornea of the old man Yamada was perfectly imitated by the smart glasses. The door of the elevator was deceived by the fake cornea and was authorized to open slowly. Okay, the first step is passed. Cho Ao's voice was very calm, as if he had already expected it. Next is the second step. Go 10 meters underground and pass the scan of the security door. Got it. Li Fan took the elevator all the way to the legendary treasury. There was only one corridor leading to the opposite side of the treasury. There were red lights in the corridor. Every 10 meters, there was a section that monitored the long corridor. Just as Cho Ao said, the scanning range of each section was 5 meters. He had to pass through one of the scanners within a second. The smart glasses marked the distance of each section for Li Fan's judgment. If he failed, the elevator would close and this place would be completely sealed. He had nowhere to escape. Whether this treasury would become his prison would depend on Li Fan's ability. He stood in front of a section of the scanning section and placed his hands on his dantian. A breath of true chi was raised. The most explosive form, Toad Strike. Li Fan's body lay on the ground. At this moment, the surrounding air seemed to be sucked in by Li Fan. He seemed to be able to sense the flow of air around him. At that moment, the flow of air slowed down. Cho Ao and Chi Zepping looked at Li Fan's line of sight through the smart glasses. They realized that Li Fan was sprawled on the ground and felt a little strange. What was Li Fan doing? Why is he lying on the ground? Did he give up? The two of them couldn't figure it out. Suddenly, Lu Xinnan's anxious voice came through the earpiece. Get Li Fan to come back quickly. Old man Yamada suddenly went back. Li Fan, come back quickly. The mission has been abandoned. Chi Zepping immediately gave the order. I'll do it as soon as possible. At this moment, Li Fan had entered the realm of a true martial artist. The world in his eyes became incomparably quiet, and the distance of 5 meters became several times clearer in his eyes. If he did not succeed, he would die. Li Fan, believe in yourself, you can do it. The door opened to Li Fan, and a huge underground treasury appeared in front of Li Fan. This underground treasury was built to be very big, like a pagoda. Layer after layer, it was filled with all kinds of antiques, and even books, paintings, and so on. All of them were authentic and worth a lot. Li Fan even saw a legendary demon blade here, the Muramesa. This place is simply a treasure house of human civilization. Chi Zepping looked at everything here, and the knowledgeable him couldn't help but exclaimed, "This place can be opened as a museum." Cho Ao also exclaimed, "This place is simply a place that can only be seen in a dream. What are you guys still doing here?" Lu Xinnan had already ran back, holding a pair of high heels in her hand, and her hair was disheveled, and she seemed to be in a hurry. Quickly get Li Fan out. Chapter 148. Get Li Fan out now, Lu Xinnan urged. Old man Yamada has already gone back. He's in a hurry, but I don't know why. Did the plan get leaked, or was it detected from the surveillance? That shouldn't be the case. There's nothing wrong with the surveillance, and the internet is under our control. Chi Zepping ruled out this possibility, unless old man Yamada has some special anti-theft system, and when Li Fan entered the vault, he was notified outside of the network. If that's the case, Li Fan, hurry up and come out, Lu Xinnan urged Li Fan. Or else it'll be too late. There's only this one chance. Li Fan's voice was steady. If I miss it, there won't be another chance. I must get the Imperial Jade Seal out. Since he was already here, Li Fan would not give up. He gave up on observing the other treasures and focused on looking for the Imperial Jade Seal made of black jade. Li Fan took 2 steps forward. In front of him were several rows of sculptures of girls. These sculptures looked very lifelike. They were about 13 or 14 years old, and their expressions were very lifelike. It should be the work of a master. And they're all naked. That old man Yamada is really a pervert. Li Fan curled his lips. Cho Ao, who was analyzing the data through the smart glasses, suddenly exclaimed, "No, they're not sculptures." "What do you mean?" Li Fan asked subconsciously. Cho Ao continued, "From the analysis of the data, these carvings have human cell reactions. You mean they're all living people?" "Of course they're all living people." The voice that answered Li Fan came from behind. Li Fan turned around and saw old man Yamada standing behind him with a smile on his face. "These adorable little angels will grow up one day. It hurts me to think that they won't be beautiful and pure in the future. So, I thought of this method to let them maintain their most beautiful appearance forever." Bastard! These girls were still too young. Yet Yamada Geezer could be so ruthless. It was simply sensational. "Young man, you won't be able to understand the pursuit of beauty. If that's the case, then you can go to hell to accompany these girls." Yamada seemed to have guessed Li Fan's identity and had been speaking to him in Mandarin. Without any hesitation, Li Fan stepped forward to kill Yamada. Li Fan's figure swept away like a cool breeze, leaving behind an afterimage. His body suddenly hit the glass wall in front of him and stopped abruptly. The glass wall couldn't be seen at all. He didn't know when it appeared and blocked Li Fan's path. You think you're invincible, but you don't know that you're just a frog at the bottom of a well. Old man Yamada stood behind the glass wall and sneered at him. "Little Chinese martial artist, do you really think you're the savior of the world? Today, I'll let you know what's called the immensity of heaven and earth." As he spoke, a green gas was released from the vent at the side, enveloping the treasury. "Damn it, it's poisonous gas." Cho Ao analyzed this gas and finally became nervous. "Damn it, damn it." Lu Shinan was somewhat agitated. "This bastard. I told him to retreat, but he refused to listen." While Li Fan was in this green gas, it made Li Fan feel dizzy. He felt his consciousness becoming more and more blurry and his head becoming heavier and heavier. Li Fan, Li Fan." Lu Shinan used the walkie-talkie to shout, trying to wake Li Fan up. But Li Fan only has a pure yang body. Although his cultivation is fast, he can't be immune to poison. These poisons have a very obvious effect on him. Li Fan didn't hold on for long before his eyes turned black. Lu Shinan's voice calling him seemed to be very far away, but also seemed to be very close to him. Li Fan felt as if he was floating, as if he had arrived at the clouds. The clouds were surrounded by beautiful fairies, revolving around him. Am I in heaven? I'm still young. I haven't even realized my ambition, and I'm already dead? Li Fan was somewhat vexed, but these emotions seemed to be very far away from him, and he couldn't even touch them. It was like these fairies in front of him seemed to be right in front of him, and he could reach out and touch them. But after reaching out and touching their bodies, he didn't feel anything at all. Looks like I'm really dead. AI, it's a pity that I was still a virgin before I died. Forget it. Being able to see these fairies is also good. If I can touch them, it would be even better. Without waiting for Li Fan to sigh, his body suddenly sank, and he fell from this heaven, like an angel falling to the mortal world. He suddenly fell, and when he woke up again, he was back in the treasure vault. The surrounding green smoke dissipated, and Li Fan saw that his body was naked. His hands and feet were handcuffed, and he was chained to a wooden plank-like torture device. This seemed to be one of old man Yamada's perverted collections, and it made Li Fan unable to move. An old man Yamada was sitting in front of him, and beside him were a few beautiful girls of similar age. Each of them was also naked, and they were serving old man Yamada, making old man Yamada's face full of satisfaction. These beautiful girls' necks were tied with chains, and their butts were stuffed with tails. They didn't look like little angels at all, and were clearly being reared like livestock. Old pervert, you sure are enjoying yourself. The signal here seemed to be blocked, and Li Fan's rice grain earphones couldn't receive any information. Even his smart glasses didn't work. I've worked hard my whole life to build this empire and family. Why can't I enjoy myself? Yamada stretched out his right hand and stroked the head of a female pet. I'm destined to change everything. If you want to go against me, you're going against the master of the future world. The master of the future world? Just by you? Li Fan laughed. I'm afraid it won't be long before you die. You're already so old, but you still have so many ideas. I won't die. I'm the chosen one. It was the Amaterasu god who gave me this life. I won't die so easily. A line popped up in Li Fan's mind. I won't die so easily. Li Fan, you're Lu Xinan's subordinate. Your kung fu isn't bad. I admire it. Yamada suddenly changed the topic and suddenly extended an olive branch to Li Fan. If you follow that little girl, you won't have any development. As the saying goes, a fine bird chooses a good tree to nest in. What you mean by that is, you want me to jump ship. Li Fan made it clear. That's right, that's exactly what I mean. Yamada nodded. This is your only chance and my gift to you. If she dies, none of you will be able to escape. Japanese, you're looking down on us Chinese. Li Fan snorted. Although I don't like that woman, I hate animals like you even more. Too stupid. Old man Yamada sighed. Since you don't want to live, then die. With that, Old man Yamada picked up a gun and pointed it at Li Fan's chest. Since you can't be used by me, then I'll destroy you. The gun was pointed at Li Fan. To be honest, Li Fan was really nervous at that moment. It was impossible to say that a person wasn't afraid of death. In this world, who wasn't afraid of death? Especially since Li Fan was still young. His future was limitless. It was impossible for him to not be afraid of a gun pointed at him. But even if he was afraid, he couldn't admit defeat. He had to think of a way. Li Fan's dantian chi was raised by him, and then he suddenly let out a loud shout. Fierce tiger roar. This loud roar resounded throughout the entire treasury. At this moment, everyone's ears buzzed. For a moment, they were in a daze. Old man Yamada's gun tilted, and the bullet was shot at the top of Li Fan's head. Li Fan's world suddenly slowed down. This was an extraordinary feeling that he had when he was in a difficult situation. The bullet's trajectory slowed down infinitely in his eyes. It was like a slow-motion scene in a movie. The chi in his body seemed to have rushed out of his body and was released outside of his body. His chi was like an extension of himself. It caught the bullet and wrapped it into a ball. Li Fan felt that this technique of using chi to control an object was not like his seven-gallant fist. Even if it was the toad strike technique, there was no way to make true chi so flexible. This chi circulation technique was more like the minor phaseless divine art. Li Baihu's minor phaseless divine art was to spread chi outside of his body. It formed an invisible layer of astral energy and strengthened his body's defense. It was probably because he had absorbed a portion of the minor phaseless god technique that he had inherited some of its abilities. Who would have thought that this ability would actually save his life at a crucial moment? The bullet was wrapped by Li Fan's chi. It changed the direction of the bullet and finally hit the handcuff on Li Fan's right hand. Bang! The handcuff on the right hand was broken by the bullet. Li Fan immediately raised his right hand and grabbed the left handcuff and twisted it. Snap! The left handcuff was broken by him. Li Fan bent down and broke the handcuff on his foot. Now it's my time. Li Fan clenched his fist and sneered at Yamada, whose eyes were filled with shock. Didn't you enjoy torturing me earlier? Li Fan's eyes flashed with killing intent. In China, there is a saying, the gods are watching. Yamada, you have done so many crazy things. Aren't you afraid of retribution? I am the person chosen by Amaterasu God. How can there be retribution? Yamada did not seem to be aware of it. He continued to arrogantly say, I, Yamada Kazuo, am different from the masses. These women, they were able to receive my favor and be transformed into eternal angels. It is their honor. Honor? What the hell are you cursing? Li Fan couldn't help but curse. You're just a twisted pervert. Don't pretend to be a fool here. Today, young master will take care of you, scum." With that, Li Fan's naked body suddenly jumped up and sent a palm towards old man Yamada. Those beautiful girls stared blankly at the side, but Yamada Geezer raised one of his hands and blocked Li Fan's slap. Chapter 152. When Li Fan walked out, there was no one else in Yamada Kazuo's bedroom. He stretched out his hand, twisted the bookshelf, and the door of the passage slowly closed. From now on, no one would be able to enter this treasury anymore. Let those endless treasures be buried with these pitiful girls. Li Fan had some regrets in his heart. If he had given one of the treasures to himself, he could have become a rich man. But it was not something he should take, so he didn't take it. Moreover, this place was very safe, and he had Yamada Kazuo's physical characteristics in his hands. If he wanted to get these treasures, he could come over at any time. This place would become his treasure house, but the only difficult thing was Lu Xinan. He had to find a way to make her give up this treasure house. Li Fan tidied up his shirt, put on his mask, and turned on the smart glasses Black Mirror mode. Then, under the cover of the night, he quietly hid in the darkness and disappeared from the castle. At this moment, Lu Xinan placed her mobile phone on the table. On the mobile phone was a silly photo of Li Fan, and next to the photo were candles, apples, pears, and so on. Lu Xinan stood in front, and the 5 members of Qi Zeping's team stood behind. Everyone looked sad and solemn, as if they were mourning for a martyr. Lu Xinan was still holding 3 cigarettes in her hand, and her eyes were full of regret as she said to Li Fan's photo, "Li Fan, although we usually can't get along, you are after all a good person, a real man. Although you are a little ugly, have a bad temper, a bad character, no money, no height, and no taste. But after all, death is a big deal, so I won't talk about these shortcomings. In short, you are generally a good person. I hope you can go to heaven after death." Qi Zeping and the others at the back also sighed. I hope Brother Li Fan can have a good journey. You don't have to worry about your family. We will take care of them for you." "But, eldest miss, are we really not going to save him?" Cho Ao seemed to admire Li Fan a little. From the looks of it, he had even set up a mourning hall. It was clear that he had abandoned Li Fan. "Don't talk nonsense." Qi Zeping reprimanded Cho Ao, but his voice was not serious. Obviously, he felt sorry for Li Fan. After all, Li Fan had saved them twice. "Sigh, I also want to save him, but unfortunately, I don't have the strength to do so." Lu Xinan was also very uncomfortable in her heart. Li Fan was dead. She always felt that she was missing something. But now is not the time to be impulsive. We are still in someone else's territory. When I return to China, I will think of a way to avenge Li Fan. "Eldest miss, as long as you say the word, the 5 of us will immediately go and save him." Qi Zeping suddenly said, "I will act as an individual and will definitely not drag the first miss down. If the 5 of you can rush in, why would I need to carefully arrange this plan?" "Humph. Li Fan, you'd better die. You're still alive and only know how to scare me." Lu Xinan's legs really went soft after a long time. "She barely got up by holding the table. If I knew this, I wouldn't have cared about you. It would be better if you died without a beer." I said, "Good people live a peaceful life. How can I die so easily?" "But you came out. What about Yamada Kazuo?" Lu Xinan seemed to think of something. "That perverted old man will never come out." Li Fan sneered. "To be able to let so many treasures accompany him, his death can be considered to be worthwhile." Lu Xinan and the others looked at each other. "Yamada Kazuo just died? What about the Imperial Jade Seal? Where is it?" Lu Xinan finally asked the question, but Li Fan hesitated. It was like a bright white moon, illuminating the entire house. Li Fan looked at the bright moon formed by the Qi Pearl, and felt that the other party was like a part of his body, turning illusory into reality. It seemed that he was still unable to make this ball of energy turn into a cherry blossom like Morong Ing. After all, he needed to reach a legendary realm in order to comprehend it. But could he change the shape of this chi pearl? Li Fan stretched out his hands, as if he was pinching the chi pearl out of thin air. The shape of this chi pearl was constantly changing, as if it was related to the state of Li Fan's cultivation. The chi pearl slowly turned into the shape of a toad. AI, why is it a toad? It's too ugly. Li Fan tried to improve it. The toad's body rolled, and finally turned into a tiger crawling on the ground. Sure enough, although he was unable to turn illusory into reality, Li Fan could change the shape of the chi pearl. This kind of true chi attack with shape was much more imposing than a ball of chi pearl. Just as Li Fan was trying to change the shape of the immortal crane, the bathroom door behind him suddenly opened. Li Fan was startled, and the ball of energy burst like a balloon. What is this? Magic? Lu Shinan stood there, smiling like a flower at Li Fan. In this hell, there was a row of beautiful girls, as if they were welcoming him. And Yamada Kazuo stood in front of him, with a grin on his face. Hee, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Li Fan's whole body was cold. Am I going to die like this? Looking at the corpses surrounding him, Li Fan's heart trembled. He woke up with a start, and found that he was lying on a tatami. Sir, you're awake? A maid of the Yamada family was kneeling beside him, respectfully handed over a hot towel. Please apply it to your face. Thank you. Li Fan took the towel and wiped his face, wiping the cold sweat on his forehead. Where's Lu Shinan? Chapter 155. Mr. Li, Miss Lu has already left first. After Li Fan woke up, he understood what had happened last night. He had underestimated Lu Shinan. The reason why this woman was able to do well in a city and run such a big business for his father, she was definitely not an easy woman to get along with. Although she was not as good at arguing as him, she was very cunning. This time, she had played a good game of chess. With a kiss, she had turned him upside down. Li Fan looked around. Lu Shinan had only left him a note. See you if fate wills it. Fuck your grandpa. The next time I see you, I promise to send you to heaven. Now that he could not take a personal plane, the most important thing was that Li Fan did not bring his passport when he left. He was just a high school student. Where would he get his passport from? Now that he had entered the country illegally, it would be a huge problem for him to go back. Damn Lu Shinan. She had left him in Japan just like that. He still had to go to school tomorrow. He had to think of a way to rush back. Do you know how I can get back to China? Li Fan could only ask the maid. When Miss Lu left, she had already instructed me. The maid nodded. The helicopter to China is already waiting for you at the tarmac. That's more like it. Li Fan heaved a sigh of relief. Damn it, this Lu Shinan was not too heartless. The two of them had cheated each other for so long, and it could be considered a habit. Since she had left a way out for him, it was not to the point where they would fall out. However, he still had to think of a way to get the Imperial Jade Seal back. There was no way he could get something out of his hands. Li Fan washed up simply and was not in the mood to eat breakfast. He put on the black windbreaker that Lu Shinan had left for him and followed the maid to the tarmac. A small white helicopter was parked there, quietly waiting for Li Fan. The pilot sat there, and the maid walked forward and said a few words to him in Japanese. Okay. The pilot nodded, and the maid invited Li Fan to board the helicopter. The propellers started to spin, and the helicopter slowly lifted off. The maid covered her disheveled skirt and shouted at Li Fan. Sir, please wear your umbrella bag properly. She yelled hysterically at the top of her lungs. The plane did not have permission to land. So, you can only parachute by yourself. What? Before Li Fan could ask clearly, the helicopter had already flown high into the air and headed in the direction of City A. Li Fan almost collapsed. Fuck, are you kidding me? I don't know how to parachute. Stop, I don't know how to parachute. Li Fan shouted at the driver, but the driver did not understand Chinese. so he encouraged Li Fan with a bunch of Japanese. Li Fan extended his hand and pointed at the ground. The pilot smiled. Li Fan thought he understood, but unexpectedly, he stretched out his right hand and gave him a thumbs up. Following that, the helicopter flew even higher. Fuck me. Did this big brother think that I said he didn't fly high enough? Li Fan was about to collapse this time. This was too much of a scam. Did he have to play so big? I really don't know how to parachute. Li Fan could only cry as he looked at the vast earth below. He thought to himself, I don't want to go to the sky anymore. Since he was already here, Li Fan simply meditated and adjusted his breathing. After an unknown period of time, the pilot woke up Li Fan. He opened his eyes and saw the familiar night view of City A. He didn't expect that when he flew over, it would already be nighttime. The pilot made a gesture of refueling at Li Fan. Li Fan was crying. Refueling your grandpa? I don't know how to play with a parachute. But there was no other way at the moment. Without authorization, the pilot would never land. Li Fan opened the cabin door and looked at the vast expanse of white clouds outside. Below the clouds was a city that could be faintly seen. Li Fan's heart was pounding. What the fuck? That's way too high. Before Li Fan could react, a gust of air blew over, causing the helicopter to shake. Li Fan didn't stand firm and fell from the top. At this altitude of a few thousand meters, if he directly chased down, even if Li Fan's qigong was extraordinary, he would probably fall into a small photo. Fortunately, he still had a parachute on his back. Li Fan's body fell rapidly to the ground, and he was really a little panicked. At such a high distance, no one had confidence. I hope the quality of this parachute is good, and there won't be any accidents. But in the process of falling, Li Fan slowly changed from fear to a feeling of drifting. He felt as if he had become one with the world, and the wind around him seemed to be his partner. He subconsciously mobilized the true qi around his body, forming it like a piece of clothing, and put it on his body. His body suddenly began to slow down, as if it had become a lot lighter. He felt like he was a feather, or maybe a little heavier than a feather. His body continued to fall to the ground, but at a much slower speed. Li Fan tried to change the shape of the true qi. Soon, the true qi slowly formed a triangular shape, like a glider, and drove Li Fan's body to glide forward. Damn, is this possible? Li Fan lost his fear. He looked at the ground below him and let his true qi act as a glider. He passed through the clouds and began to glide quickly towards the ground. But this could only be used as entertainment. If he really relied on this method to land, he was afraid that he would directly fall into hell. When Li Fan approached the city below, he finally opened his parachute. Puff! An umbrella flower bloomed in the air. Li Fan felt a big hand pulling his body fiercely, slowing down his speed many times. Finally, he slowly fell to the ground at a safe speed. Against the moonlight, Li Fan landed on the roof of a building. He took off his parachute, walked down, and tidied up his windbreaker. When he jumped down, the wind was so strong that his clothes were blown into a mess. Li Fan stood on the top of this tall building, looking down at the bright city below, and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. City A, Li Fan, am back again. Damn it, I won't go abroad casually in the future. What a trap. It's simply a deep trap. Li Fan looked at the building that was more than 10 stories high. Looking down, it was a distance that made people dizzy. However, in order to test his strength, Li Fan took a deep breath, then stepped on the edge of the building with both feet, opened his arms, and suddenly jumped down. The wind sounded in his ears. For a moment, Li Fan actually enjoyed this feeling. His zhenqi naturally flowed out and enveloped his body. Li Fan suddenly opened his arms. The true qi was like a layer of membrane, connecting his arms and waist, letting the air support his body. Why are you so late? I'm sorry, young master. I'll arrange it for you. You phone want to make a phone call while Li Fan said to Yuan Chuanli guiltily, Auntie, I'm sorry. I did lie to you. Actually, I'm not a university student. I'm just a high school student. At that time, I was afraid that you would be worried, so I did this. I'm really sorry. It's okay. Child, why didn't you say so earlier? Yuan Chuanli only felt that the world was changing too fast. Before she could react, another Mercedes slowly drove over. Yu Feng opened the door for Yuan Chuanli. Ms. Yuan, please get in the car. Leave the rest to us to arrange. I guarantee that you will have a wonderful trip to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. Then I'll bring 2 clothes. We've prepared all the necessary necessities for you. Just enjoy your trip. We'll head to the airport first. The special plane to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand is already waiting for you. Yu Feng was indeed a professional bodyguard. His answers were so detailed that Yuan Chuanli was a little confused. Lin Yusan was also a little shocked. Yuan Chuanli had already been invited to the Mercedes. Li Fan said sarcastically, "Do you remember what you said? You said that the Imperial Jade Seal can be left with me. What beautiful words. I was moved at the time." Li Fan, I lied to you about this. Lu Xinnan shrugged her shoulders. But if I didn't say that, you wouldn't have given me the Imperial Jade Seal. And if you believe me, I can tell you very bluntly. I myself am not interested in this Imperial Jade Seal. Oh, guess, do I still believe you? I can't help it if you don't believe me, but this is the truth. Lu Xinnan didn't seem to force Li Fan to believe her. But if I have a guilty conscience, I naturally dare not come to see you. Since I come to see you, I naturally have the confidence. Since you are not interested, why did you steal it from me? Li Fan asked. Li Fan, you may not know the meaning behind this Imperial Jade Seal. Lu Xinnan lowered her voice, and her expression became solemn. This heirloom Imperial Jade Seal is of great significance to both the martial arts world and our business and politics. It can be said that as long as it is a sane person, he will want to take it for himself. I understand what you mean. You mean you are not sane. Screw you. I can only be regarded as an exception. Lu Xinnan rolled her eyes. This Imperial Jade Seal can only be a hot potato in my hands. If you think I want it, it will be too late for me to push it out. But this thing can't be put in your hands. You have too little experience in Jianghu. It will bring death to both of us. What do you mean? Speak clearly. Okay, then I'll be straightforward. Lu Xinnan took out a photo and put it in front of Li Fan. It was the photo of the Imperial Jade Seal. This Imperial Jade Seal is said to hide the treasures of the Great Ming Dynasty. Before Emperor Chengzhen died, he hid all the treasures of the Great Ming Dynasty in it. What you saw in Yamada Kazuo's place is just a drop in the bucket compared to this treasure. What the? So exaggerated. Oh, he is just a small Japanese businessman. How can his collection be compared to a big empire? Lu Xinnan curled her lips. In his treasure house, only this Imperial Jade Seal can be regarded as the real thing. Most of the other things are imitations and are not worth much. Damn, he was prepared to get it back later. Hearing Lu Xinnan's words, Li Fan was somewhat discouraged. But he changed his mind. Could what Lu Xinnan said be true? What if she wanted to monopolize the treasure house? No matter what, dealing with this woman was like making a deal with the devil. He needed to be very careful. It's fine if it's just the treasure house. It won't involve you people in Jianghu. Lu Xinnan tapped on the photo. Most importantly, there's a book that's said to be the most valuable treasure of the martial arts world in this treasure trove. It's a unique skill called Vairocana Heart Sutra. Vairocana Heart Sutra? Li Fan hesitated. Should he go back and ask Morongyang? Although I am not in Jianghu, I have heard some rumors. It is said that this secret skill was invented by a strange genius of Jianghu. He relied on this move to defeat the world's invincible people. Moreover, he also cultivated the art of longevity. It is said that the person who cultivates this secret skill can use the true qi to continuously cleanse their bones and marrow. They can maintain their youth and live forever. Nonsense. If it was really so powerful, wouldn't that person still be alive now? How can you believe this kind of Jianghu rumor? The latter part may be a rumor, but it is true that one can be invincible after cultivating this skill. Lu Xinnan looked at Li Fan. A martial art that makes people invincible. Li Fan, aren't you interested? It was not an exaggeration to say that she was a poisonous snake. Like I said, we're all in the same boat. This is our only chance. Lu Xinan's eyes flashed. I need to use this opportunity to prove that even if I don't marry that guy, I can still make my family develop better. From Lu Xinan's gaze, Li Fan felt a familiar feeling. At that moment, he seemed to have seen Mo Rongying's gaze. Although Lu Xinan had a venomous heart, her personality was similar to Mo Rongying's. Both of them wished to be a strong woman. It's just that Mo Rongying was a genius and was more domineering. But Lu Xinan was just an ordinary woman. In order to gain the recognition of more people, she needed to pay more. Two women with the same background. In order to prove themselves, they took two completely different paths. All right, then I'll promise you. Li Fan decided to take a gamble. This matter was too attractive to him. It's a pleasure working with you. Lu Xinan's mouth finally revealed a smile. Let's consider this matter finished. Before I leave, I'll come and inform you. After that, you have to fulfill another promise. What promise? Promise? What promise? Li Fan seemed to be forgetful. Lu Xinan curled her lips. You must be doing it on purpose. Don't forget. You still owe me 500,000. You have to help me teach someone a lesson. All right, I've taken someone's money to help them get rid of a calamity. This matter was already promised to Lu Xinan. In order to not owe her anything, Li Fan must do it. All right, your task today is to pretend to be my boyfriend and attend a high-class gathering with me. At the gathering, beat up whoever I tell you to. Oh. Then do I have to dress appropriately? Li Fan asked. No need. The more tattered you wear, the better. The smile on Lu Xinan's mouth looked so evil. Then I understand. To what extent should I beat him? Will he be paralyzed or paralyzed? You'll be responsible for the medical expenses, right? Just beat him until he cries for his mom and dad. Lu Xinan's requirement was not high. However, this miss won't cheat you this time. Let me make it clear to you first. He has an expert by his side. You have to be more careful. Expert? To what extent? Well, just a little more powerful than the average person. Lu Xinan pinched 2 fingers and made a small gesture. That's no problem. Leave it to me. Li Fan laughed. Snake woman, don't worry. I don't dare to say anything else, but I'm very good at living. Screw you. This miss will pick you up at night. You Feng, pull over and let him get out. Aren't you going to send me to school? Don't joke. This isn't a taxi. Fuck. Sending Buddha to the west. You're not Buddha. Goodbye. Lu Xinan really asked Li Fan to get out of the car and drove away in the Bentley. This damned woman. She didn't let him have a good time. The two of them were really enemies in their previous lives. Chapter 159. The displacement and horsepower of this Toyota Prado were not low. The instantaneous acceleration was amazing. If it hit Li Fan's body, Li Fan would be crippled even if he didn't die. But the good thing was that Li Fan was a martial artist. Moreover, he was a martial artist who had reached the next level. At the moment when the Toyota Prado kissed Li Fan, the flow of the whole world seemed to slow down. Li Fan instantly entered the state of bear strike and slapped the front of the off-road vehicle. Bang! Li Fan felt a huge force hitting his arm, but his true chi was not to be trifled with. It crazily poured into his palm. Li Fan was like a cannonball. The Vajra subduing magic integrated with the bear strike technique was full of destruction and explosive power. His slap carried a huge amount of true chi and was imprinted on the front of the car. Bear strike, Ursa Major Seal. Boom. The black off-road vehicle was stunned and abruptly stopped there. It couldn't move forward even a millimeter. Then, the body of the off-road vehicle began to fall apart. The wheels flew out. The front of the car was slapped by Li Fan, and then the bumper flew out with a clang. The glass of the car exploded, and the glass fragments flew everywhere. A good off-road vehicle was turned into scrap metal by Li Fan's slap. The engine also began to emit black smoke. The driver inside was a young man in his early 20s. His hair was dyed in a colorful color. He was tightly blocked by the airbag and wrapped in the seat. Are you driving or killing people? Li Fan put down his palm. The web between his thumb and forefinger was slightly trembling, but fortunately, it didn't cause too deep an effect on him. Be careful when driving in the future, idiot. The driver didn't know if he had fainted from the shock. Li Fan was too lazy to care about him. If he dawdled a little more, he would be late. Chang Chuanxi wouldn't believe that he crashed the car. He ran back to the classroom and threw the scrapped off-road vehicle there. After winning the last exam, the school didn't target Li Fan again. The principal was probably brewing some big move. Chang Chuanxi was still critical of Li Fan. As soon as Li Fan entered the door, he scolded Li Fan's hair was too long and didn't look like a student. I have a fast cut now. If I shave it again, I will become bald. Li Fan was the only one who dared to talk back to Chang Chuanxi. Teacher Chang, this is a school, not a prison. Do I have to shave my head to come? Li Fan, don't be stubborn with me. You will regret one day. Chang Chuanxi was also very unhappy in his heart. No matter how he looked at Li Fan, he was unhappy. He was like a needle, piercing his eyes. If he didn't kick him out of the school, the principal would lose confidence in him sooner or later. I must find a way to get rid of this kid. In this school, if there's him, then there's me, then there's him. That? Teacher Chang, can I go to class now? First of all, the United States is not as good as everyone thinks. In contrast, our lunchbox may not be worse than a middle-class family's meal. And speaking of the gunfight problem, this has always been a difficult problem in the United States. In the United States, the best department in the hospital is the gunshot department. Wow, the students exclaimed. Li Fan also couldn't help but ask a question. Teacher Liao, it is said that the United States housing is cheap, much cheaper than China. Is this true? This is true. Liao Wushuang nodded, but when you buy a house, you have to pay the relevant management fees and taxes every month. The better the house, the more expensive these fees. If you lose your job or go bankrupt, the first thing you have to do is move out of the house. This made Li Fan feel enlightened. So, China is already very happy. The most important point, I hope everyone can remember. Liao Wushuang seemed to be serious. Her voice was full of strength. It doesn't mean that you can become happy in any country you emigrate to. A person who doesn't work hard, no matter where he goes, will always be a loser. But if you work hard, no matter where you go, you will shine. Remember, gold will always shine. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.